How's it going, guys? It's your boy Mike from Seattle with Michael Zuber. And what we're going to be doing is a little extension on our regular weekly YouTube comment section Q&A. During that comment section Q&A, I always request that the followers or the viewers of Mike's channel leave a comment down below, or you can message me directly on Instagram. And that's exactly what happened. Somebody sent me an Instagram video from the content creator Invest with Ace.
Is buying a house really that much less affordable than it was for our parents?
So if you watch TikTok or if you watch Instagram Reels, he's one of the short form content creators, kind of like Sharon Song, who you've had on your channel before. They make a lot of that short form content for millennials. He's a pretty legit dude, and I'm going to try to hopefully set up an interview with you and him, because he has a lot of properties, pretty successful in his young 30s. We're going to watch a video where he highlights a claim that you have made countless times. And that claim is that no matter how much you might gnash your teeth, realistically, 2020 and 2021 were the most affordable years to buy a house. You've done the 52-year spreadsheet. He does the math a little differently here. So we're going to watch it, get your reaction. Mike, you ready?
I am. I look forward to it. I invest with Ace. I hope to speak with you someday, man.
Is buying a house really that much less affordable than it was for our parents? Or are these headlines just clickbait? Let's take a look at some real data. Here's some inflation-adjusted numbers with January 2000 set as the baseline. Now, if my parents were to buy a home back when I was born in 1989, the average home would have cost them 113 grand. Today, that average home costs about 216 grand inflation-adjusted. But it's not that straightforward, because the average home today is about 20% larger than the average home in 1989. And it's obviously a want over a need thing, because the average household size in the US has remained exactly the same over the past 30 years. So when you sensitize to account for price per square foot, the average home today is about 53% more expensive. Then we got to factor in cost of funds. Today's interest rate is not as high as it seems at 5.13, because 33 years ago it was 9.74. So 100 grand of debt today is a $545 payment, where it would have been an $858 payment in 1989. Making home loans much more affordable today and effectively canceling out the difference in cost per square footage. Factor in a 15% increase in inflation-adjusted median household income, and pound for pound, the average home is actually markedly more affordable today than it was 33 years ago.
All right, now that was a lot of data right there, but the end point was it's cheaper to buy a house now than it was 30 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, Invest with Ace did a lot there. It was fun to watch somebody else go through it. I was very impressed. So shout out to him for being able to do that in such a quick format. I could never do it that fast. So I'm impressed. Yeah. What I took away from that is kind of the punchline. When you understand housing is about the payment, and you understand that interest rates are lower, or they have been lower for 40 years, and you understand that incomes are up significantly, housing was just more affordable. I have told people repeatedly that housing was the most affordable in 2020 and 2021, and they hated that. They thought I was crazy. How can it be more affordable? Well, I've got to tell you, a 3% mortgage is a lot better than a 9% mortgage. I don't care what the price is. It's just better. And unfortunately, there were lots of channels who screamed pricing crash, and a lot of people watched them, and they didn't do anything. And now they've been hurt. They've been severely damaged because they listened to the wrong people. So Invest with Ace. Thank you. You did in a minute what I couldn't do in 10 minutes. Yeah, it is about affordability. Now, I will argue, if you fast forward to where we are today in 2022, the affordability picture is different. But again, you come out of this price, rate, or wages. It's all three things, folks. And I know you don't like to hear this. I believe we have wage inflation just kicking off. Wage inflation over 3, 4, 5 years at a flat price will make housing more affordable. And then if we get interest rate cuts, which most people expect at some point, it naturally fixes affordability. Folks waiting for a 30% housing crash, nationally speaking, are probably going to be disappointed unless we have a nasty recession.
Yeah,
he did a nice job.
Well, you know what? That is the interesting thing about the TikTokers, the Instagram Reel guys. You know, they get a minute. They get a minute to make their point. So they got to be quick.
Awesome. He was good.
Yeah. He's a good dude. I've watched a lot of his stuff. I'm going to message him. I'm going to request that you send him some messages because I think you guys have a great conversation. I don't know what his actual portfolio is, but I'm thinking he's getting probably close to like 100 units type guy.
wow.
He owns a bunch of different buildings in the Midwest. So he's a pretty prestigious guy on TikTok. But yeah, I think that the takeaway point is stop trying to time the market. Okay.
Well, actually, I want to step in.
Sure.
Stop listening to renters. Invest with Ace has got units. He's doing the work. He knows the math. He can calculate yield. He knows how to understand payment versus rent. If you're listening to some guy in his mom's basement who rents for investment advice, I might check out Invest with Ace instead.
Yeah. Or your Uncle Joe who got scorched during the 2008 recession, hasn't bought anything since. You got to make sure you're getting advice from a trusted source.
At least get both sides. I mean, geez, man.
Right. Yeah. I mean, this guy is clearly extremely educated. He's done the work. He's making a profit. He's growing. The only way you do that is if you know what you're talking about. So when somebody with this much experience or someone like you has this much experience says, hey, hold on, I understand that the knee-jerk reaction to prices going up is to say, oh my God, it's unaffordable. It's not fair. I got to wait for prices to come down. But when you contextualize it with wages and interest rates, as you talked about, you might come to find that, especially when you look at it over time, shoot, you actually are buying a house for cheaper than what your parents buy. You can borrow that money at a cheaper cost than what your parents borrowed that money at.
Oh, and by the way, your average household income is 3x what your mom and dad were making. I mean, it's the whole equation, folks. It's price, rate, wages. It's a very complex ratio. That's why all these baby YouTubers don't talk about it.
Right. I'll give you a little law enforcement tangent here to contextualize it. What we use in the law enforcement world all the time is based on the totality of the circumstances. So for instance, let's say that I pull a car over who was just weaving around like this crazy all over the road. Well, that one single act is not enough for me to arrest somebody for driving under the influence. They're weaving all over. Doesn't mean that they're intoxicated. Could just mean they're a bad driver. Could mean they're fatigued. Could mean they're on their phone doing one of these. But when I go up and I contact them and then I smell alcohol and then they admit to drinking and then we do the field sobriety tests. Once I put that context around it, given the totality of the circumstances, all of the different markers, then I might make an arrest for, okay, I think they're under the influence. I'm going to make an arrest for it. It's the same thing with real estate. You have to look at things in a contextualize what are all of the variables and how do they interact with them. Just because someone's weaving, just because prices skyrocketed, doesn't necessarily mean it's unaffordable, doesn't necessarily mean they're under the influence. They could just suck at driving, or you could just be seeing uncharacteristic appreciation, but with low interest rates, it's still actually affordable. Mike, that's all I got for you, unless you got any closing thoughts.
No, again, I want to encourage everybody to send us creators that I should check out. I'd never heard of Invest with Ace. I'm missing out. I'm going to put him right in the title of this video, so hopefully he sees it.
Sure.
Tell us about other short form content creators. I would love to meet more and more people and help more and more people. So Mike, thank you very much.
Thank you.